Circumference and the Isle of IMMETER. Circumference and the Isle of IMMETER. Area and perimeter is the name, guys. GG boys, it's area and perimeter. Alright, that's enough of the theme song. So Circumference is now on a new quest. No, not Circumference. His kids are on a new quest. His son and his niece is basically on a little quest for the Isle of IMMETER. Basically, they were playing this game where basically the guy or woman who laid out the tiles of squares, would have to say how many squares she used, and then the person, whoever says how many sides there are, whoever says that first, will basically take all the piles, and then they do that until the person who's supposed to make the shape is run out of tiles, and then it's the guy with the most tiles turn, and yeah, that turns out it's a pretty fun game. I should try it sometime. And turns out the game used to belong to a woman who used to live in this castle on the island of IMMETER. And it just seems so well, too, because I kind of enjoy having all this. And I'm trying to have the last precious moments with my cat before I give it to someone else for a month. Because I'm going to Europe and India. I'm going to India first, but we'll talk about that in another episode. And so basically, this is how it all works. And okay, you can go. Basically, this woman, the cousin, his niece, decides that she actually enjoys the game so much that she looks at the box, and then she finds this riddle, cat fur, and this riddle where she finds out that there's a way to actually take Isle of IMMETER. The secret of IMMETER is the name of the game. Open where inside and edges are the same. And so the next morning, she woke up, and then she already found Radius woken up and eating breakfast already. Cat fur is so annoying, but it's worth it when you have a cat. And the cuteness of it. And then turns out they decide to go explore the island, and Radius hurry to the deck, and they go to the island of IMMETER, where they try to solve the mystery of that island. Afterwards, they actually heard a myth that there was a sea dragon, but Radius doesn't even believe it, saying that, it must be a myth. And then that myth turns out it's true. Turns out legends that seem to be just regular old legends, turns out they are never legends at all. Never underestimate the power of storytelling, Radius. You don't even know you're in a story. I just ate cat fur. And next up, when they get inside, after finding a 4x4 square with an area of 16 square, units squared, and 16 units as the perimeter, we don't call it perimeter yet, on the edges of the outside, then they land inside, and they find out that the sea dragon's real! Oh no, what are we gonna do? And then they find this little thing. A must stand for a meter. Like Ariana. Because it's an A, and they did not know poker cards poker cards didn't exist then, and it was writing on a cross around it, and it says, count half as many inside as out. This unlocks the tower without a doubt. Like, count what? Maybe those key shapes, because it also says unlocks the tower. And so they finally find some a tile that has 24 edges and 12 units, square units. And they pry open a loose tile, and inside the loose tile, they find a key, and they use it to their advantage. They unlock the door, but then they find on the keys another riddle, where 200 floor squares fit inside, IMMETER's secret does reside. Yeah. And then they find themselves inside, a round room, and they realize that how are squares gonna fit inside this round room? And then they realize something. Hey, what about this method? Cut it like this, and then you get a sort of a rectangle. It's a very blocky and weird parallelogram, but that should do. It should be good enough. And they search the castle while avoiding sea dragon attacks, and they finally find a tower that is 200 square units. at least approximately 200 square units. You can't actually do that on an actual circle. You can't actually use perfect squares. And afterwards, they finally find, like, there are 200 squares, and there's other signal. The squares in this circle are the secret's key. Use the number to signal the sea. So they ring the bell 200 times. And then the sea serpent comes out and says, I am now your master. At least signals that with body language. And that's exactly how it all ends. Yeah, that's how it ends. So I guess that's how it works. And nowadays, that cousin is now the actual rightful owner and lady of IMMETER. And so now she's called Lady Pearl of IMMETER, and that is why the outside edges, like the edges of like a shape that's straight and has actual edges only, will be called perimeter, in honor of the castle where she learned all this and her name. And then what about the distance of, like, how much space it occupies? Let's call that area, in honor of Ariana. Bum, ba-da-bum. The circumference of a circle is equal to pi multiplied by its diameter. See circumference in the dragon of pi. Since one diameter equals 2 radii, that's plural for radius, their 2r can be substituted for d. So technically, c equals 2 pi r is actually c equals pi d. And per use 1/2 of the circumference of the orange for the length of pi r of a rectangle. So technically, 1/2 of the circumference equals pi r. Then you multiply these two measurements to find the area. So technically, it's pi r squared. So the area is pi r squared, because pi r times r equals pi r squared. Basically, you need to cut a circle into infinite pieces and arrange them together in the order like this, and so that you will get a perfect rectangle. And that is the end of today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it again, and I'll see you guys soon. It's worth all that cat hair in your food, in your mouth, in your poop, on your clothes, as long as you can see the cuteness. See you guys soon, guys. Bye. And have a wonderful day with whatever pet you have. Oh my goodness, I need to flap again. Yeah.